This might be the most underrated AI feature released this year. After a week testing it, I'm obsessed and I don't know why so many other people aren't talking about it. What I'm about to show you eliminated the biggest time suck in my work. So if you've ever lost hours editing spreadsheets, building forecasts, roadmaps, and strategies, then you're going to want to see this, because I've managed to connect Claude to the inside of all of my spreadsheets. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can already use Gemini and Copilot inside Google Sheets and Excel, but they're severely limited and can only really perform basic functions. Let's jump straight in. This is Claude for Excel. Now, to get going, it's really easy to install. You go to claude.com/Claude-4-XL and hit the install now button. That's going to drop you over to the Microsoft Marketplace. Once you do that, it's going to bring you to this page, and then all you got to do is hit open in Excel, and it's going to open up, or it's going to download and open up to a page like this. And now we're in and ready to go. Every time you open Excel, at the top right of the screen, you can hit Open Claude and start working. Now, there's some things to be aware of in this window, and you can slide it across depending on how much view you want when you're working. First thing to be aware of is the ability to switch models depending on the sort of how heavy work you're doing. So we can stick with Sonnet 4.5 if you're doing lighter everyday tasks. If you need full power, switch to Opus 4.5 to your most demanding things. Just be aware, if you're using Opus 4.5, it's going to use up your usage allowances much quicker than Sonnet. Now, you'll see in the middle here, it's going to give you all sorts of options, which we'll get to how to use this and what you can actually do with it in a minute. But on the bottom left here, there's another important button. It's got accept all edits or ask before edits. Now, you're going to want to start with this on ask before edits, because if you just allow it to accept all edits, you're sitting on a YOLO mode, and you might make a bit of a mess of your workbook if Claude just is allowed to run riot without you accepting. So I always say start with ask before edits. If you're confident in what you're actioning, then accept all edits if you want. You can also use the upload function to add files, photos, extra materials, or you can even search the web if you wanted to go and research stuff and come back with some information for your sheets. Then crack on and do that. Now let's try it out on a real Excel workbook. We'll start simple and build up from there. So for starters, we can just use these buttons off the start and get it to explain the structure of a particular workbook or spreadsheet. What you'll see is it reads more than the page we're on. It goes through this expense review and this category summary page to see what's going on, and then give us a quick overview designed to track and categorize operating expenses for a dental practice in this case. It even goes and identifies some issues in there without me even having to ask for it, which is kind of what we want to get to on this next step, because I'm just going to ask it to check this sheet for anomalies, duplicates, and miscategorized expenses. If you've done any bookkeeping before, then you'll know that this can take quite a lot of time out of your day just trying to reconcile and match everything up. Well, this is going to speed up the process for us. Immediately, it'll set to work and start finding all of these problems for us. What we can see straight away are the missing categories. So anywhere where expenses haven't actually been categorized properly. And you can click this row button here, and it should take you exactly to where that problem is for you to see it very quickly. Then we've got further analysis. It's looked at like duplicates, and hey, we've got some of the same expenses through here. Should they be there or not? And it's analyzed and said, hey, these are monthly expenses. That's an internet bill. This is normal. Don't worry about it. It's got some mismatched expenses. So an online advertising campaign has been marked as office supplies rather than marketing. Again, we can see that very quickly here. Now, at the end, of course, it's not just giving us this information, it's offering to fix it as well. So, of course, you can just say, go and fix all of these, and it will give you this little permission request. We had it set to allow on request or allow all edits. So we could allow all the edits because we've checked them through and we're happy with them, and it happens in almost a matter of seconds. You can see we have no missing categories in here now, and it's going through. You can see it switching and recategorizing where we need. Pretty cool. Now, this next usage is an even bigger time saver, because I can't tell you the amount of hours I've spent reformatting and just tidying up messy spreadsheets for all sorts of reasons, whether it comes to my finances or it comes to some marketing strategies. Well, we can get Claude to do this for us as well, whether we want to get it to change currency, reformat dates, change anything in here. It's just a quick prompt away and it gets on with doing everything automatically. It's even gone and said, hey, I want this in GBP rather than dollars. So it's actually gone and done a conversion based on today's rate, which is really handy for me because I buy a lot of stuff in dollars, but file my taxes in pounds. So I need to make all these conversions quite often when I'm bringing in expenses for my business. No more manual spreadsheets. Now let's take things up another level and start looking at how we can use Claude to fix and write our broken formulas. Honestly, some of these, these might sound simple, but as a poor spreadsheet user, sometimes it takes me half an hour to actually fix these formulas or just give up. Now, in this example, I've got a spreadsheet which is filled with SEO keywords. These are keywords we want to rank at the top of Google for, and we should have the monthly search volume, how many people are searching for these keywords in this column. But they're all blank across my whole workbook, and that's a big problem because it's important data. But I do have all that information in this main database sheet. You can see I've got all the keywords and the data here. Now I need to pull this data number across to each of these segregated keywords to match them up. So I need to use what I thought was a VLOOKUP formula here that allows me to pull and match data between different areas of my workbook. But it's not working. This is a real problem I've had, and it's taken me longer than I'd like to admit to fix it sometimes. And I'm just going to talk to it in very conversational language. My VLOOKUP formula isn't pulling data across my work, but I need the volume data from my data sheet to match the keywords across the rest of my workbook, but it's not working. So that's all I'm going to do. And in real time, actually, it's found the problem that my columns are mismatched because my column index is wrong. Even if I did know what it's doing, it's probably finding that problem quicker than I could myself. And I can just ask it to fix it straight away. Boom, we've got all of our data now pulled across correctly. 3D rendering cost, volume 70. And here we go in the main data sheet, 3D rendering cost is 70. So we're working nicely in a matter of seconds. So what used to take maybe half an hour sometimes takes 10 seconds. Next, we're going to turn Claude into our own personal analyst. Gonna use it for some financial modeling to create a 12-month cash flow projection for conservative, expected, and aggressive targets based on historical data in these sheets. So you can see I've got December 2023 to October 2025 data here for it to start using in our cash flow projections. So you could use this for anything, whether it's financial stuff. I could be using it for some SEO data performance. And you'll see once it's read through all the sheets and started building its analysis, it actually creates a 12-month cash flow projection, a new page here to start working in. And in just minutes, it's built a dashboard that I could only dream of creating from this with our different scenarios, our change in cash based on a 20% uplift or downlift, and even giving us our methodology at the bottom here. Now, it even gives us then next the option to start visualizing the data. It adds sensitivity on our key assumptions, so we could add more seasonality in there or something. But let's try the visualizing the 3 scenarios. So we're going to now ask it to actually build us a chart. Wow, here we go. We've got our line chart very quickly, which builds that expected cash flow over the next 12 months so we can visualize it very quickly. This is all stuff happening in seconds that I just wouldn't bother to do in the past. Now, in this next use case for Claude for Excel, I want to use it on some marketing data to help us report to one of my clients. So this is just a data dump from Google Search Console, which shows a comparison over the last 3 months compared to 3 months in 2024 of the same period, clicks, site traffic, ranking positions, all sorts of things. So it's going through all of this, calculating the performance to give me a complete breakdown. Very quickly, we get our overall performance summary in the chat window here, showing where we're struggling, potential new opportunities here for Brazil, our key concerns, and some recommended actions, really importantly. So it's given us some ideas of how we might improve things, or we can get it to start building a complete dashboard. So we've got our Google Search Console dashboard being built out here for us. So honestly, if you've got a marketing agency or something and you've got to pull reports together, this is an absolute godsend now. It's even gone and started building out us charts for us as well. Ooh, just don't want to move those too bad. Built out some charts for us to easily visualize the data. Honestly, this now works almost like your CFO, your data analyst, marketing reports, so much stuff. I think the only downside is that you can't use Claude's skills within Claude for Excel. So for example, if you watch my next video on Claude's skills, you'll see how you can build brand guidelines to build branded spreadsheets and presentations. You can't reverse apply those through Claude for Excel, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm sure that feature will come in the long run. And I could take this sheet, upload it into Claude mainframe, and get it to apply my brand guidelines there. Watch this next video if that's something you want to learn how to do.